Hey, we are here with a session of Gamebound, a little show where we play random one-shots of various games and others. And this is the first time we've done a Burning Wheel one-shot. Yeah, I don't think we've ever done that.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. What is the stream called?
The stream is called Gamebound: Burning Wheel, Episode 1, Tolkien-themed one-shot! Exclamation point.
Can you change it midstream?
No.
Okay. Cancel the stream.
What did you want it to be named?
It should be called Don't Watch Rings of Power. Watch this instead.
I didn't think about
just
that.
Tag it how it needs to be.
Yeah. I didn't think about it, but too late now.
Oh, you're not going to change it?
No, I'm not going to change
it. Cancel the stream. It's fine. He's watching.
Actually, Gruno is watching.
Hey, what's up, Gruno? Lang is watching too.
Well, that's Gruno.
Oh,
same person.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, you did.
What's up, Mr. Lang?
I'll tag it with the appropriate hashtags and things on Twitter when I post the video and stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of funny though because I feel like a lot of the Tolkien purists. Spoiler alert: we are doing a Tolkien themed one shot. We're doing something in Middle Earth here today with the Burning Wheel. But I feel like a lot of the Tolkien purists who
spoiler warning?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the Tolkien purists who are the people who don't want to watch Rings of Power probably won't be necessarily interested in this because it's an evil campaign thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be just as much of a feminist as the show is because I'm an evil spider lady.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you guys are going to be evil, and so it will end up feeling a lot like Rings of Power, but we won't pretend that these characters are good.
Exactly. That's literally what I was going to say about Ecthelion. I'm Galadriel, but a male, and doesn't do and isn't doing the combat stuff, but is evil. Yeah. Right? He has this stupid mindset about him. So I'm just Rings of Power Galadriel.
One of the things I've been, in Rings of Power so far, everyone's been theorizing as to who Sauron is secretly in the show. And my official canon right now, I saw a take and I was like, yes, this is the correct take. Galadriel is Sauron. That's my take. That would be the only way that Galadriel's character makes sense in the show is if she was secretly evil the whole time. So that's my headcanon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to be playing a game in the second age of Middle Earth. And if you're not familiar with the Burning Wheel, it's a perfect game to try to play Tolkien in. I mean, the game itself was very much meant to be that. It's meant to be a Tolkien, a fantasy game that feels like Tolkien in a way that Dungeons and Dragons really just doesn't. Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy adventure game where all of the races feel like humans, but they're just reskinned humans. But all the races in the Burning Wheel are incredibly different, right? It feels different to play all of them. Being an elf means that you're actually an immortal being who will not die and will continue to exist until the world ends. You have magic songs. You have a emotional attribute called grief where you can waste away into nothingness if you get too sad about the world. It feels Tolkien in a way that just a regular Dungeons and Dragons campaign doesn't, or just any fantasy thing. So I feel like it's the perfect game to play a Tolkien one shot in. And we're going to be doing something in the Second Age of Middle Earth. We're going
to start off history centered, right? And just kind of do our own thing. We're entering into an actual Second Age Middle Earth.
Yeah,
history.
We are. Yes, exactly. And I was just about to say basically that history is Sauron has just forged the One Ring. The races have just realized that they've been tricked, right? And that Sauron is secretly trying to control all of them with the rings that he helped make. That whole thing is currently happening. And we are going to kind of take a look at an elf that has kind of been turned off to the whole thing. Everything that's been happening in Middle Earth right now, he's just decided, you know what? All these elves are dumb. I don't know what they're thinking. How could they be tricked by Sauron? I need to find a way to stop Sauron on my own accord. Though, looking at your life paths, Connor, one thing that I realized is that Ecthelion, who I know Ecthelion is an actual elf in the Silmarillion, but Ecthelion, Connor's character, is a different Ecthelion.
I can change my name too.
No. I like the name. I think we should just keep it.
Okay.
His life paths. He has been a dark elf for like 200 years.
Yep.
So that means probably what happened is, so an eremite is like the one, right, where you're like off in the distance, like doing your own thing. All right, because that's the one you have like wasteland wise and other things like that, right, as options. I'm pretty sure that's the one that like it's like a dark elf who just like decides to separate himself from the world. Maybe
I get philosophy, ugly truth, obscure history, symbology, strategy, elf-wise, orc-wise, dwarf-wise, man-wise, Haen to the Darkfire.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of a different thing. Recluse.
Traits is remote and cold.
Oh yeah, eremite is a word that means recluse. So yeah, you must have been.
Okay, yeah.
So you've been away from elven society for 150 years at this point.
Well, and I'm like studying other societies, right? Like I have orc-wise, dwarf-wise, man-wise. So like I've seen the world.
Yeah.
So my thought as to how his history kind of goes, well, unless we don't want to deal with that on screen.
No, it's fine. If you have an idea, just
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if, I mean,
just go for it.
All right. It is a one shot. So, he was born as like an elite, right? So he's born Ethark.
Yep.
So he's
a noble
high of an
elves.
elf. Yep. And then he like studied under his elders or whatever. He studied and learned the ways of the elves.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 50, I think that while he was a student, he started to like adopt a very like pragmatic way of thinking, that like kind of shook the elven honor and tradition and like, I guess like above these like dirtying of hands. And sure. I just had like an affinity to not be against dirtying my hands. And it was because my father, rather than correcting me like he should have, just kind of grew distant when he kind of realized I had these tendencies. And so I think it came to a point where like I had this elven lover, right? This fair maiden that ended up dying in combat in like a fight that I didn't think they needed to go and fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I like told her like, I think it's stupid that you're going to go fight this battle. Like these people should just be able to defend themselves or something like that. Or like that these people are too powerful, like some sort of dark force. This is too powerful. Like it's stupid to go and try to help them. They're going to die anyway. Why should you die too? Kind of a thing. And she went anyway and got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I became a griever, and obviously, like I think my like dad was still like distant at this point. And then I think for 25 years for my liar life path, I was among the elven people still, but as a dark elf.
Yeah.
And I was just lying my way through everything.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think for Siren as well, I was a liar and was just like causing discord amongst like the Ethark. And just like manipulating the politics behind the scenes with dastardly means to try and like make my way to the top. Because I was like, all of these like traditions and rules and like these honor things, like these are just stupid. Like if people just listened to me, they'd still be alive. And like, I'm trying to like protect the elves from like going and fighting for the men and the dwarves. Like they should just be able to defend themselves or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where I was caught in my treachery. I pushed the law a little too far, and then I was banished from Elvenkind. And then I've been, for the last 150 years, I've just been wandering and like learning about like history and philosophy and all of these different races and stuff like that. So I've just traveled around, probably just like as a hedonist for a while. And now that the Rings of Power have come to the elves, right? I probably was like drawn back to them and was like, I got to find my way to get one of these rings.
Mm-hmm.
And can you explain to me exactly how they were deceived? Were they deceived by thinking the Rings of Power were powerful?
No.
Or they were deceived by thinking that he didn't make a ring himself?
So this is what happened. Basically, Sauron, as far as I remember, Tolkien purists are probably going to find something in this that is wrong. But as far as I can remember, Celebrimbor, the elven smith who made all the rings, except for the one ring.
Yeah.
I need to look this up. I know he made the elven rings. I need to look up the Tolkien.
Okay, so I was I was a little confused. I was like, I know that Sauron deceived them, but how? Like, what was the deception?
The deception was basically that he had his hand in all of the rings in one way or another. Let's take a look. The Rings of Power were the masterwork of the Gwaitham Myrdain of a region headed by Celebrimbor, grandson of Fëanor. The impetus for the creation came from Sauron, who could at that time still assume an appearance fair enough to deceive at least some of the elves. A total of 19 Rings of Power were forged by the elves, 16 of which Sauron had a direct hand in creating. The greatest 3 rings Celebrimbor crafted alone, which were the ones that were given to the elves, right? So then Sauron, planned to use the rings to dominate the remaining elves of Middle-earth. In accordance with this, he secretly forged the One Rings in the fires of Mount Doom, seeking to bring all the rings and their wearers under his sway. However, when Sauron put the ruling ring on his finger, the elves were immediately aware of him and took off the rings. Furious at this turn of events, Sauron came against the elves with open war and demanded that the rings be given to him, so on and so forth. The dwarves also were not easily bent to his will because they're just stubborn, right? Because they're dwarves. But the 9 men fell under his sway and became the ring wraiths.
Right.
So that's basically what happened. The elves, and then after Sauron was defeated, in the future, that hasn't happened yet in this timeline that we're dealing with, but the elves put the rings back on because Sauron was weak enough that he couldn't influence them anymore, and then they could use them regularly. So right now, they're probably can't be used without danger.
Okay.
So maybe you realized that and we're like, I need something that's not tied to Sauron.
And probably just came back as a noble and was like I have a right to this thing still. Probably tried to find like some sort of loophole in the law in the elven tradition to be like, this banishment was should be nullified because of whatever, to try and get my hands on the Rings of Power. And then I think as soon as I touched one, I was like, oh, you guys are so stupid. And was like, this is not a ring of power. Like, this is a ring of like mind control. And was just like, okay, I don't even want to touch these things anymore. And realized like, okay, if Sauron is powerful enough to control the elves, obviously he's going to be able to control everybody else too. So I was like, now it's time for me to go and find my own like power and rival Sauron.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'll get back to working on my
and to that end, Ecthelion has started to wander the world again, and has come to the cold environment of the Fordwaith, the northern wastes of Middle-earth, and he has heard rumors of slightly before this, probably still when he was searching the north, searching Fordwaith, so probably not too much time has passed since this happened. He came across Deleb. Would you like to tell us who Deleb is, Jared?
Deleb. is a spider who has been outcast from her brood because she got a little too greedy and tried usurping the brood mother.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it Ungoliant?
It doesn't have to be Ungoliant, but that's the one named spider we know of that, besides Shelob, that might be the brood mother of this. Yeah.
Either like probably like a direct servant to Ungoliant.
Yeah, probably.
Isn't Ungoliant a god?
Yeah. It makes sense just to have it be some
like
daughter of
Shelob
hers.
level.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tried to usurp her and steal her position and power, and ended up failing and was outcast. So now she just
you had like a hole somewhere in Fordwaith.
A hole that she lures men into with her magic web.
Yep.
And tortures them and slowly consumes them.
And Ecthelion came across you, and what happened, Connor?
Well, I guess we haven't really talked about this, but yeah. I'm assuming I like you probably got the best of me in terms of combat, and then I was probably impressed and was just like, this ancient spider, like you can be my right hand man, so to speak, or my right hand spider, and like fight my battles.
If you're fine with me of having like captured you, one of my instincts is I must torture every secret out of my prey before devouring them. And I mean, if your secrets were tempting enough, I would have definitely, because my other instinct is always seek greater power.
I mean, my guess is like, with my skills and stats, I don't think that you got me to the point of like.
Oh yeah, no. I don't think I tortured it out of you, but.
No, well, yeah, I suppose you could have captured me though, especially if it happened like Shelob did. But I mean, even then, I feel like I would have. I'm an elf. I would have like heard from behind you, unlike Frodo. I don't know, but yeah, I'm fine with saying you had captured me and wrapped me up, and then I was just like, oh yeah, you should just let me go because I'm awesome. And
right,
I'm gonna rival Sauron's power. You don't want Sauron to rule over you, do you? Like not when you can be the queen of the new world.
Wait, are you the king and I'm the queen? That's a little.
No, weird. I'm emperor.
Right. You could take your own.
I'm the Phoenix King.
Right. Not the Fire Lord, the Phoenix King.
Yeah, correct.
Cool. And so I think currently you guys are in Fordwaith, and I have a little map here. For the
streams. You have like a little saddle to ride me.
No, I don't think there's any riding going on.
Yeah. And you have been on the search, Ecthelion. You've heard that there's some old elven watchtower, probably up in this area. So not the Iron Mountains themselves, which is this, but like in some of the foothills over here. And some old elven watchtower that used to be that like was.
What's it called?
Good question. I should make a name for this.
I was gonna put it in my beliefs. So
yeah, let me. To a Quenya name generator.
Jared, do you want to read off maybe your beliefs and instincts while we're waiting?
Oh yeah. Did you already read yours off?
No, I'm still writing.
Okay. I have failed at usurping the broodmother. I will gain new power with the help of Ecthelion. Ecthelion could be a useful ally. For now, I will do his bidding and help him take over the fort place that we're going to. That Caleb hasn't made a name for yet. My hunger is endless. I will devour any who resist us. My instincts always seek greater power. I must torture every secret out of my prey before devouring them. Always have a dragline and always be webbed.
Always have a what?
A dragline. That was something like stated in the rules that you're basically just always have like a little bit of thread coming out of you. And if, like, for whatever reason you're like fall or lose your balance, like that would be there to like catch you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the spider stuff is pretty cool. So the watchtower is called Ringelindur. Basically, it means oh man, I had it up here and then I went away from it. It was like of the cold star, something along those lines.
That's what the place is called.
Yeah, Ringelindur, and basically in Quenya, in the Elvish tongue, it means like cold star or something along those lines. And anyway,
Stone.
yeah. So the idea with his watchtower was basically it way back when. Ooh, popcorn. Thank you. Way back when Morgoth was still doing stuff. It existed to kind of keep a watch when during one of the times where Morgoth and his servants were like not as prevalent, not as they were sleeping, like waiting to attack, and so it was like an elven watchtower to like watch for the coming of the darkness. Because the north is where Autumno was, with the old dark cavernous fortress of Morgoth. And it's been abandoned for years and years and years and years because, I mean, honestly, most of Middle-earth, most of the west of Middle-earth fell into the sea at one point back in that time. But this watchtower just happened to still be there. And the elven, there aren't any elves there anymore, and so there wasn't any use for it, so they just kind of abandoned it. But you have heard rumors that there might be an artifact still left from the old days of like the Noldor, the Gondolin elves, the greatest of all elves. The Gandalf's sword and Thorin's sword and Sting all came from Gondolin, the old elven city, like the most great elven city to ever exist. So an artifact of Gondolin might still exist in this watchtower, and you're trying to seek it, but you found out that some orcs, some nasty no-good orcs, have taken over the tower instead. And right now, Sauron doesn't have a claim over these orcs particularly, but it probably only a matter of time before he brings them under his sway or calls them to him or something, because he's starting to gather his forces. But for right now, these are just kind of like wild orcs.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like right over here, basically. In the hills.
Or roadway.
Okay, so I think I have my beliefs and instincts now. Tell me if any of these sound stupid or don't quite fit. Beliefs. Sauron will dominate all of Middle-earth if his rule is left unchallenged. I am his challenge. I will gain enough power to rival Sauron. I will start by making my own throne. Belief 2. My kin are incompetent. The elves are under the control of Sauron, but their past can still be helpful. I will uncover the ancient powers of the elven artifacts of legend to become the most powerful being of all. I will start my search in Ringelindur.
Ringelindur, yeah.
Okay. Deleb Gueria is a worthy ally. I will use her to slay those too weak to join me and use her webs to ensnare those worthy of my time. But first, I must test her loyalty. Instincts. Always talk before fighting. Never leave a stone unturned. Always studying elven artifacts? ? Better way to phrase that, maybe?
It would probably have to be more like, if I come across an elven artifact, I will study it.
Well, that was kind of like never leave a stone unturned. I want my character to just be like constantly like reading, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, always studying elven artifacts makes sense.
I have a tome of lore in my resources.
So technically that's an instinct that if we were doing a longer form thing, that would be like you're always practicing elven artifacts wise, right?
Oh.
So you're always like spending any of your free time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, especially in case we ever come back to this. I can just be like, I had points in there.
Yep.
And that can be the only skill I improve, because there's really no need to improve anything else really, except for archery, which or my bow skill, which I'm gonna have to start learning.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Your first iteration of your character had bow, and then the second one didn't, but you still had a bow, and I was like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna use it. I just probably gonna miss a lot. Hopefully, Delibguria doesn't leave me because I shot her too many times.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I should
you know how I said I was going to be combat focused?
Yeah.
Spiders only have one combat skill from what I saw, and it's brawl.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Oh no!
It's literally all, but I have 6 in brawling, and then all I have is web skills, which
I mean, that's fine. That'll work out fine.
Those just aren't necessarily useful like during combat. That's like to set up for the combat.
It might be interesting though.
Because all of my my spells take like 10 plus like actions. Like if I were to do them mid combat. So those are all back. You have your instincts.
Traits. Born under the silver stars, fair and statuesque, compulsive liar, learned, remote, and then die traits. Essence of the earth, firstborn, keen sight, cold, etharcal. Etharcal? Is that how you say that?
Etharcal, maybe.
Etharcal, spite, and then call on traits, driven and charismatic. Holy buckets of cheese.
Should I read my litany of traits?
Yeah,
too?
go do it.
I
love the spider traits. They're so cool.
Okay. Alien, arachnid body, 8-eyed, 8-legged, fangs, spider sense, venom, wall crawler, keen sense of balance, low speech, silk spinner, chitinous, massive stature, strand runner, single-minded, bladed tarsi.
Oh my goodness, you have more traits than I do.
High speech and vile language.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I guess whatever the gifted
traits.
Or I'm sorry, some of them are common traits, some of them are call-on traits, and then some of them are like I just have plus declining.
Yeah.
It's a litany of them. I can also talk to animals and insects.
Well, that's good to know.
That'll be
really helpful for me, probably.
Yeah, it turns out that when the baseline for the game is a human and you have a giant spider, there are a lot of traits you have to add to make sure that you make it clear what they can do.
So,
but yeah, so I think we just see Ecthelion, the elf, step into frame. Right, it's a cold winter landscape. In forward wave, you see some hills ahead and a lone elven watchtower. What do we see from Ecthelion? What does he look like?
that is a great question. And as soon as you started describing the scene, I was like, oh crap, he's going to ask me what he looks like. And I have no clue. Do elves have black hair?
They don't have to, but they can.
I'm between blonde and black. I'm not sure if blonde because it's just it's an attractive elven look. And I think that's kind of how Sauron looked. Or black because it's kind of the anti-Sauron.
Well, you're probably, what is it, Quenya elf? Wait, what are they actually called? Quenya is the language.
Circle?
Who speaks Quenya is the question. Because I'm curious if there's like an actual rhyme and reason to what elves have, what kind of hair color. Or whatever.
Right.
Wow, I can't find anything.
Well, either way, I think he in terms of his physical stats, they kind of suck. So he's probably looks like my stature. He's like small and petite and unmuscular. And he probably doesn't look like scarred or anything. Like he probably looks very well kept and royal and I don't want to say pale skin because he's traveled the world, but yeah, I mean he's been a lot of places, but he's not dirty, right? He's
Sure.
His clothes are fine.
I don't think elves can get tan.
Elven clothes. But it's possible. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, probably.
We're not Lord of the Rings. We're not the Rings of Power.
Well, no, obviously their skin doesn't get so dark that they are African American. But I'm assuming the sun still affects them, or is that just like not true?
I mean, Elrond
Well, it does say
was like,
cold doesn't affect them. It says like extreme temperatures don't really affect them in the rules of Burning Wheels specifically.
Yeah, cold. Where, oh no, that's a die tray I'm looking at. Yeah, you're right.
Essence of the Earth, I think, has the details on that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could see an argument for elves can't get tan.
They don't feel the effects of earthly cold and heat.
Yeah, so maybe they can't get tan.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, I don't think so. That's crazy. Okay. So yeah, so he's pale skinned and I mean he has black hair. I'll just say that. But and a really long beard. I'm just kidding.
Elves can't have beards either.
I know. So yeah, and he's like, so no scars. Like if you looked at him, you would think he was a royal elf. Like he's a fine elf. He's not like furrow browed and angry or whatever. He's like he carries a very eloquent air to himself.
But in reality, he has a gray 9 spite.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah. I looked it up. You have to have it. That's like literally the lowest you can have.
Really?
But to be fair, Connor, the only way you advance is if you get, you have to have it be a world-ending thing. Basically, let me look at it again.
Gray 9?
He is gray 9. Yeah, he started out with a B14.
Is that his magic?
Okay, so am I able to change a couple of my like the modifiers to it to make it different? Because I was playing around with some things, and then when I saw it ended up with gray 9, I thought I had broken something.
No,
but I hadn't
think it's
landed
accurate.
On.
Because a lot of it has there's a bunch of factors in it.
Modifiers. I was playing around with the modifiers to see if I wanted my character to have been tortured or whatever.
Oh, sure.
But then when I changed my path to not have the soldier protector stuff, I think I'd like I was never enslaved or tortured is what I mean.
Okay, I mean you take off 1 then. So
G8. Just 1 for that? Well, there was 2 for that.
So severely wounded and tortured.
Tortured, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can take off 2, so it's G7 then.
Okay, but then I think my steel goes down by 1. But that's why I was trying to let you know that I think my steel and health were supposed to be different.
Sure,
and I'm not sure what those ended up.
So
being.
if those are the 2 things that you're changing, that means your steel would go down by 2 and your health would go up by 1. No, your health would go up by 2 as well. If you mark those all across the board, you are tortured and wounded, then that means health needs to go up by 2, steel needs to go down by 2, and spite needs to go down by 2.
Oh my goodness gracious. That means I have a B10 health. Am I not allowed to gratiate it?
I don't think you typically can.
I'm pretty sure you gratiate health by having stats that are gratiated.
Yeah, exactly. That's typically how it's gratiated. There's only certain things that actually allow you to gratiate them manually. So yeah, I think you have a B10 health. The healthiest elf in existence. But yes, I want to look up this though real quick because it's fun. What is it here at the Dark Elf section? Oh, I guess I don't have that listed. Mainly, I'm just curious what the spite, because it lists like the things that you get for spite when it upgrades or when you get advancement on it. I'm curious because the funny thing about any of these emotional attributes is to actually get the tests you need to like actually get to 10 and then your character's done. You have to get an ob 10 spite, an ob 10 at some point, right? Because it has to be challenging. And for you have to have this happen to you before you would actually waste or kill yourself because of spite. And it would be realizing that the path of spite breeds nothing but hatred and division, and that this divergent path will be the end of elvendom, but walking it anyway. Or betraying friend, family, kith and kin, precipitating their destruction and end because they failed to see your matters your way. One of those 2 things.
Yeah, I feel so. Just don't kill me.
This session.
What do you say? What do you say, Connor?
Me? I think both of those will happen in this session.
Yikes.
But what did Jared say? I couldn't hear him.
I said, just don't kill me. You'll be fine.
Yeah. See, well, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't know. I want to test your loyalty. So
Yeah.
That goes.
Anyway, so we see.
Back into.
Oh yeah, good. We see Ecthelion step into the frame. Sees the elven tower in the distance, and then is Delabgueria just like pattering behind him on her spidery legs?
Is he walking or is he just like standing and like staring at the place?
I don't know. Either one. Just depends.
Okay.
I assume that he was, going to approach it. Like that was the thing that's going to happen next, at least.
I think he's just, or she.
I was going to approach who?
The tower.
Yeah. I think she's like doing like the whole like cats in the cradle thing with the web and like doing doing the what's it called? The way of the 8.
Oh, do you actually want to do an astrology test here to to like
astrology
figure out the portents of what's about to happen?
I only have a 2 in that, but I mean, why not?
Yeah, so let's say we see Ecthelion step forward into the frame, and we see the tower, and then we see Delabgueria behind him in like a little like dip in the terrain, like she's kind of like down in, because it's bright out, it's like sunlight. She doesn't like sunlight, and so she's like I'm gonna be able to say the sun is starting to go down, because you Ecthelion, you're like, we probably can't go anywhere if Delabgueria has like the sunlight all over. And so we see Delabgueria like down in a little dark hole in the snowy landscape. Yeah, weaving a little astrological thing to try to get a portent or whatever. So Way of 8, I believe, doesn't it just function like
it's literally just
astrology? So,
but I like forking and spider centric things.
Sure, of course. So that means, so what are you actually trying to find out in terms of level of astrology thing you're trying to go for here? Like how clear of an answer you want to get?
I don't have any examples on here. It just says refer to the.
So naming the stars and constellations, Ob 1, constructing a person's horoscope, Ob 2, determining the auspices of beginning an enterprise, Ob 3, calling upon the stars to answer a question, Ob 4, and interpreting celestial phenomena or omens, Ob 5.
2 or 3 would be good, because this is Connor's enterprise.
Yeah, let's do Ob 3 then.
Okay.
So you're just trying to figure out the auspices of the enterprise.
I can't fork in like weird weaving, right? Because that's just magic skill.
Yeah, I don't think that qualifies here.
Okay. I'll fork in weirding way, webwise, and then weaving.
Cool.
Would snares?
Yeah, I don't think
into
so.
that, because it's just finger.
You're not trying to snare
fingers.
fate.
Oh, and male wise, because Connor's male.
So the context in which that spider wise is, it's about like mates more than males.
It's I mean, it's a little more. It's a little more substantial than just. But
I don't think his maleness actually matters here. Is the thing, right?
Okay.
So I don't think I'm gonna give it to you. I know you were excited to fork that into everything, but
okay. So I've got 3.
You watch the entire tower is going to be filled with female orcs.
No, is that even a thing? We've never seen any of those.
So I think it has to be a thing, given that I'm reading the Silmarillion right now, and it literally says the orcs came from elves, and they like reproduce like elves do. Yeah. So that means there have to be female orcs, but we just never see them because Tolkien was probably like, I don't ever want to show this on screen.
Yeah, they're probably all kept in camps for breeding.
Right, exactly.
I succeeded.
Yeah, wait. You managed to, look into the webs, figure out exactly what they're saying to you. And, I guess auspices of the Enterprise, it's going to be dangerous, but certainly is going to be worth it if the danger is overcome. Like this is a good idea, basically. It's not like it's not going to be useless to go here. So Ecthelion's hunch is probably right that there is some sort of important artifact here.
So should my spider voice be like Wicked Witch of the West, or like more like a hissy like spider, like
Well, so
Hissy.
yeah,
I
was gonna say the actual like spider listing, which I thought was really cool. Let me find it again. Basically says that since spiders can't, like, they don't have actual
lips and vocal cords.
Yeah, exactly. What they do is they just like like push air like through their mouth and then modulate their little pedipalps in front of the mouth so that it to shape it into sounds that they want it to be. So it sounds very sibilant and really weird. Like basically it's all like air hissing in and out.
Mm-hmm. There's danger. There's danger afoot, but it should be worth the effort. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm not a voice actor. Just whisper into the mic.
Absolutely. Do it just like that. I think that's perfect.
Okay. We need David here. He'd be like,
This is why Maddie's not here.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Ecthelion just kind of turns around and says, thank you. Has the sun gone down enough yet? Are you ready to proceed?
What time is it?
Yeah, I think it's like twilight, so it's starting like the sun is setting in the distance.
And what's our game plan? Are we just charging in?
That's a good question.
You should ask in character.
No. Do you have a plan?
Okay, okay, all right. before you were a spider whispering in there, now you're whispering into the camera phone.
There were no S's for me to elongate.
Yeah, there was. What's the plan?
What's your plan?
There you go.
Master.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. I'm digging it. All right, yeah. No. No, I actually muted myself. Ecthelion says, why don't we just go exploring? Knock on the door and just see who's home.
Sounds suicidal.
Well, joke's on you. I'm on the path of spite. That is the end of
Yeah. Okay, how do you say your name again?
Delebgueria.
Delebgueria.
You can call me Beleb or
no, I'm gonna. He's an elf. He's not gonna give you a nickname.
Yeah. Good point.
Stick with me, Delebgueria.
And you'll never go hungry again.
Stick with me, yeah. And you will see many things that seem impossible become surprisingly easy and within our grasp.
Do we have a quick second for me to set up some magic?
I think if your character like asks that, I think, oh no. I think Ecthelion would just be like, oh no. We none of that. We can leave that for later.
Well, it wouldn't be like a trap. It would be like on me.
It would be the what?
Like I'd be armoring myself essentially.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Dang it! I have to find the stupid magic thing again. So I looked for the. I never give Caleb credit for how crappy it is looking for stuff mid-session.
So yeah, I have to do a lot.
Caleb, this the obs for the magic are. It looks like it's balanced for like adding my will to it.
Yeah, it might be. What are you trying to do again?
Well, I was gonna combine like the shield with the thrall, and they're both ob 5, which is basically super hard as opposed to like a 50-50 as it would have been with like my will.
Let's just say,
and they're all weighted to have like
let's
extra effects if you get over
right.
the ob.
Let's decrease all obs, divide them all in half, rounded down. Let's just make that the standard.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So like a 5 would be a 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It simplifies it. So I would like to do weird shield, which it allows me to cover myself with a protective web coating. It's equivalent to chain mail, and extra successes may be spent to cover the legs and abdomen. And the spell lasts for 1 hour plus 1 per each successful devoted to.
So basically, if you get extra successes, you can apply them to either extra locations or extra time that it lasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that. I'll roll weaving, which is my magic skill then, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'll fork in Way of 8 and Weirding Way, since those are the only two
make sure those
are
open-ended on your character sheet before you roll them.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Yep. Way of 8 should have been open-ended too.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered. Oh, I guess.
Or no, wait. I don't think Way of 8 is open-ended because it's astrology, right?
Is astrology?
Astrology isn't normally open-ended. Not when you roll it by itself. It is when you fork it, but not when you roll it by itself.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the other stuff looks good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so you have three extra successes to apply to something.
So yeah, I'll cover my legs and then I'll do the bottom and then I'll increase it for an extra hour.
Cool. Yeah, so you have 2 hours of full body armor.
And then I would like to cast Weird Thrall upon myself, I guess. It's when in view of this weird web, victims are susceptible to the spider's suggestions.
Oh, so you just want to like weave the web so it's on you so that anyone who's looking at you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Just covering yourself in webs.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn into a web tank.
A web tank. Oh, this this makes me really want to play a game in the Weave Below world with you guys so that Jared can actually be a spider in our setting and can go wild with all the weird magic stuff as an actual character for a long running thing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? His character isn't an actual character right now?
Long form character.
For now, it's a one shot unless David's just not free again. We could have. This could be our new campaign.
No,
who knows?
Stop.
Okay, but yeah, I'll roll the same thing I just rolled. I guess we're getting off topic. Okay.
So, you cast weaving again? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing like the shield and then
but you use weave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duration of this spell indicates how long the web retains its magical effects. Extra successes dedicated to duration increase the time by 1 hour per extra success. Does it last an hour normally?
Duration hours.
Oh, the duration of this spell hours. I guess we'll assume it's 1 hour at first. No reason not to. Okay, so you can, I guess, increase it by 2 hours, so 3 hours total. This will last.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Suggestions themselves last as long as any other mundane suggestion would. They seem completely legitimate and like a fine idea. I'd love to join you in your web.
Master, I'm feeling hungry.
Yeah, so victims are susceptible to the spider suggestions when in view of this word web. So weird web. Cool. So I mean, in theory, Deleb could just turn to Ecthelion and try to eat him right now, but
get in my mouth.
Yeah, I assume she doesn't do that. Cool. So you guys perch.
Jared, did you want to do some PvP or
just right
No.
now fighting
Well,
on
I mean-
on the frost plane outside the tower?
I mean, if it's combat, I think I might have the edge. Literally anything else.
Duel of Wits.
Okay, so I quite literally, as a leisurely stroll, just walk straight up to the gate, and you can just tell me at whatever point something else happens.
Yeah.
As I walk up to the gate to quite literally like knock on the like giant iron gate or
And
whatever.
you're not
this looks
intending
like.
yourself to be stealthy or inconspicuous whatsoever. You
No.
want them to notice
No.
you, basically.
Yep.
I'm gonna just try and by pure instinct be stealthy.
Okay, sounds good. I don't think it matters though, because if Ecthelion doesn't, if Ecthelion really kind of wants to be seen, like if you just openly walking up, there's no reason why the orcs in here wouldn't have a watch and notice him.
Yep.
So I think I'm trying to think of.
Oh, could I use sing here to like attract attention?
Sure, yeah. If
As
you
like a
want,
roll?
is there a particular thing you want to happen with that attention?
I guess I want them to be curious rather than angry.
Do you have
Right? Like what's going on here rather than I have sing as a skill.
Right. Do you have your magic songs? Do any of those make sense to just do here instead?
No, I don't think so. I know what they do, and no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you have conspicuous?
I do not.
He doesn't have conspicuous, and that's the thing. Singing. So the only thing. So if you were singing a magical song, right? At the very least, they'd have to make a steel test for wonderment, right? Because that's what happens when you make it when an elf sings a song. So if you just wanted to sing one of your magical songs, not to do anything with it, but just to be singing a magical song, that's one thing you could do. To force them to make a steel test so that they have to hesitate, basically, right? So you can get up to the gate.
Let me look. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think you're rolling. I don't even think you're rolling sing or conspicuous though, because really what you want to happen is for them to not attack you, right? That's your main goal.
Yeah.
So I feel like that must be some other social skill, right? Like
Soothing platitudes, persuasion, falsehood.
yeah, let's say soothing
Twisted
platitudes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're rolling a soothing
I
platitudes.
also
test.
could sing Twisted Tongue, which gives me a bonus to a few different skills depending on which skill I want to roll. I'm trying to pull up our chat to figure out because you sent me what those do in there, but we've sent so many messages about this RPG that they're not near the bottom anymore.
I am on the Dark Elf section as well, so I can look
Okay.
real quick. So what is it? Twisted Tongue?
Yep.
Um,
Also, Sorrow of Truth might be applicable here, but I'm not sure.
oh yeah, using the following obstacles to make a social skill open-ended for the duration of the scene.
Yep.
So Ob 2, it makes soothing platitudes open-ended.
Perfect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I forgot you had an 8 in it. Yeah.
Yep.
So Athelion, what does it sound like? Right? Like the description here says, when singing into the ear of an unwitting victim, the Dark Elf bends him to his will. This song is used to enhance the Dark Elf's social prowess. I don't know how you would imagine this song, what it would sound like or feel like. Or...
I mean, it's sharp, right?
Yeah.
It's sharp and biting, in terms of its rhythm and its like
timbre.
The words that I'm using are I guess German in nature, right? And
I mean, you're probably singing in black speech, right?
Oh yeah, I probably am. Yep, that's what I'm doing. So, and I think he's probably just announcing his rule, right?
Yeah.
He's probably just like the king is here, the emperor, the lord ruler. Your salvation and your master and
Okay, if that's what
all
you're
those
doing,
good things.
then that's an intimidation test. Soothing platitudes is like, don't worry, nothing is wrong. Like, I am no danger to you.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I was framing it in a soothing platitudes way of like,
No, you're like, I'm the ruler.
well, I'm coming to save you, right? Like don't worry, I'm not your enemy. I'm coming as your benevolent ruler.
Okay. I can see it.
Okay, all right. I mean, yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay, so I get it. It's open ended for this, right?
Yeah. So go ahead and mark the little star next to it. Yeah.
And I'm going to fork in. Can I fork in sing because I'm singing? Or is that a linked test?
So
to Twisted Tongue or something.
Typically, so Twisted Tongue is a spell song, and you can't fork into those typically, except for with Song of Songs.
No, I already.
I know. I'm walking through the steps here. With the actual soothing platitudes test, the fact that you're singing is the Twisted Tongue part, right? That's the thing that's actually helping you here. Sing itself.
So I can't fork in sing.
Yeah, sing itself doesn't help your soothing platitudes.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to fork in philosophy because I think that orcs, and not even just orcs specifically. I think when you are confident and like unafraid and like are saying I'm here for your help. I think that people are much more willing to be like, well, no, that's not really. Let me think about this.
Yeah, I am very curious how you're going to use philosophy to help.
Yeah, I'll screw it. I can't think of. Yeah, so I'm using soothing platitudes. I'm gonna fork in persuasion. I'm gonna fork in orc-wise. I'm gonna fork in oratory.
Okay.
Falsehood. And
seduction.
No, not seduction. Can I fork in etiquette here?
No.
Nah, yeah, I was just gonna say no, you shouldn't give that to me. So that's 4. What's my ob here?
So I'm trying to figure that out. Because typically soothing platitudes is like the base will. Orcs have a terrible will typically.
Yep.
Terrible. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I want you to steamroll these orcs. Let's say op 3.
Oh, can I? Let me help with intimidation.
Sure. So there's like the slight bite of a threat behind the soothing words as the spider comes up behind and says what?
I mean, I don't think I say anything. I just I'll look all big and imposing behind him, and I kind of give like a reverent kneel to him, he's so powerful, sure. He controls me.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and once he starts singing, I pull out a little pair of web earmuffs and put them on.
And we have officially left all Tolkien.
All right. Am I ready? Okay to roll?
Yeah, go ahead. Op 3.
And I mean, you can give them a higher ob than that if you want. Before I'll give you. I mean, just because
this is
they have a low roll, a will, right? But also, I'm sure orcs have some sort of rage trait.
So they have hatred. Yeah.
Bloodthirsty or
the two separate things going on here, right? One, your actual intention of the roll, right, is just to get them to not attack you, so that you'll treat with them, right? You can at least talk to them. It's not dominating their will or anything, right? The second thing is that this is a random orc watch guard, right? It's not it's not the most powerful orc in the fortress. It's just the guard who's on the orc who's on guard duty. So
Okay, I'm gonna roll then.
nice. Wow. This is what happens when you play a 6th life path elf, I guess, guys. So yeah, soothing platitudes. The orc is just like, so we see this like deformed, twisted, dark-skinned thing kind of peering over the parapets and just kind of like gnashing its teeth kind of like warily. And then it just kind of turns and rushes off to like go find whoever needs to actually talk to you, right?
Did they not open the gate?
Not immediately.
I just keep singing.
Yep. So at this point, an orc lieutenant or commander of some sort comes to. Oh, give me a second. I got a popcorn kernel in the back of my throat. Here we go. Comes to the top of the gate and yells over. So big, hulking Uruk looking dude, right?
Uruk.
Uruk in the sense of like the tall,
I got you.
strong looking orc, as opposed to the kind of weak bow legged things. And he leans over,
and he has a deep voice rather than the
exactly deep voice. He has like spiked armor. He like looks over the parapet and he says, "Who are you, elf blood?"
Can't you tell by my singing?
The only thing I can tell is that you're an elf who knows the black speech. That's enough to let me talk to you before I cut your brains out.
Ooh. I turn to Delabgueria. I turn to Delabgueria. I say, "Ooh, feisty." And I say,
"Dispatch this one."
Oh no, not quite yet.
Quite yet?
What's your business with the tower? Come to pay tribute?
I come to ask for it.
The orcs around him start laughing. This little pointy here thinks he can order us around. And they're just like laughing.
I look him in the eyes and I use my elf persuasion magic or whatever, right? And I not in terms of like meta or whatever. I just want to say that I like am using my elf some sort of elf magic thing to roll persuasion in this moment and just be like, bring me to your leader.
I mean, you're just really good at talking. That is the magic of it, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
you're an elf who's lived for 200 plus years.
All right. Well, okay, yeah. I will then also just explain how I say it. Fine. I say, did I just do that? Oh, never mind. You started typing, and I thought that I had just rolled. I was so confused. Okay. I say, as much as I'd love to kill you in hand-to-hand combat, I would prefer to have a nice, pleasant conversation with your leader instead. Would you mind taking me to him? I would very much like to treaty.
Yeah.
I think he will find my my rule to be quite comforting in these dark times.
Yeah, and I think like you get like he sneers, the orc does, and you can tell that you've hit a nerve because like, yes, he isn't in charge, though he wants to be.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, "You'll talk to Asbog or you'll talk to no one, pointy ear."
Perhaps you'd be interested in joining me once I rule over you instead. Perhaps I will show mercy to you in the way that you're speaking to me. Once I have acquired the throne of this tower. Could you change your mind?
Yeah, they're just kind of like looking at each other, and the orc just says, "Oh, so you're trying to persuade him?"
Yeah, I'm trying to use persuasion.
basically to say like it's in your best interest to just let me in to talk with the dude because I'm going to end up in charge.
It's in your best interest.
Yeah, I'm going to end up in charge of this place, and so you want to be on my good side.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll persuasion.
What's the ob?
Let's say for this guy it's ob 5. This guy's name is Asbog.
I'm gonna fork in soothing platitudes. Okay, define seduction for me. Does it have to be sexual in nature, or can this be like the seduction of power?
No, so seduction is specifically like the promise of sexual intercourse or whatever, right?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I assume it's fine.
I'm never going to use that skill. It's fine. I thought maybe it would be helpful, but I think I had to take it for something.
Yeah, I think it's like
which is really weird, but it is.
No, siren. You had to take it for
siren. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I'm forking in soothing platitudes. I'm going to fork in ugly truth.
Okay. Yep.
Orc wise, oratory.
Yep.
Falsehood, but it's also kind of just going to happen probably. But I'm also like, I'm betting, right? I'm like telling him something that hasn't happened yet. I'm basically being like, this is going to happen, but I don't actually know, but I believe it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Does it still count as falsehood?
Sure. You're bluffing, but you're hoping that your bluff won't be called.
Okay.
Right.
So I lost count. So
because if it isn't called, then it will be true. But
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you said the base odd was 5. Doubled it.
Holy moly. This is what it's going to be like, guys, playing the playing Hellbreakers in space. It's going to be sort of stuff like constantly.
Yep. Okay, so does he bring me to the leader?
Yeah. So as you say this, they're like, nervously looking at each other. And Asbog just like grunts and says, "I'll bring you to the captain, but you need to watch yourself.
Oh?
One wrong move and we'll end you."
You might want to be a little bit more kind to your ruler.
You're not our ruler yet. Well,
no, you're right. Currently, I am your salvation.
He says, "We'll see what Nimrazimir says."
Sorry? Sorry, I think there was something in your throat. Could you... I don't actually say that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for spelling that, though, because I really had no idea what you said.
And Connor, I mean, this, or Ecthelion, that this is a Duniac, which is, if I remember correctly, it's one of the names. A Duniac is the language that this name is in, and it's it's Western. It's the language of the West. So it's language of men. But it means elfstone in that language.
Really?
Yeah.
I shall acquire this elfstone.
The elfstones of Shannara. Yeah.
That's right. That's heckin' right. All right. Does he open the gate?
Yes, he does. Yeah. Some orcs.
He starts like walking through the gate before it's like fully open, right? He doesn't like wait. He just like starts walking, expecting it to open, and then just like walks through.
Yeah, and I think you see as you go through, there's actually like a big old troll who's cranking the gate open, and then an orc like whips him. And he's like, So.
And Ecthelion turns around and as he's walking through the gate and says, "Come along, Delibgueria."
Does the spider just scuttle through the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I fit? I'm massive.
Just barely. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna ask, how big of a spider are you?
I'm
Like
like
Shelob
I think
size?
Shelob size
Yeah.
is what that would be.
That changes the scene for me.
How big did you think I was?
I thought you were smaller than me.
Like a dog?
Well, a big
Ward
big
ward
dog.
size? No, I'm like Shelob
Yeah.
sized.
Okay. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, and Delaware, you probably immediately are like, I could stay here. Here, put some webs over here, put some webs over here. Right.
Also, like,
you've been
look at all this
traveling.
food.
Right, exactly. You've been traveling around, Delab, and that is not fun. You need a lair and you need prey that comes to you. But we see Delab squeeze in, and then the orcs are just like, like scattering out of the way of the giant spider that's like making its way in.
I tell them that I'm just what's the name for a female orc?
I don't know.
Orcris? Orca?
So I've been typing orcs into my phone all day when you talking to you guys, and it keeps autocorrecting it to orca.
Should add it to your dictionary.
The plural of orca.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I tell them I tell them I'm a beautiful buff female orc, and they believe me because I'm magic.
I don't know if that's how that works. I think I don't think you can define reality for them.
What's more believable, that or they want to get eaten?
Well, yeah, you can make them do things. You can't make them believe fundamentally different things about the world. I don't know if that's you can't make them see an illusion.
Can you make them see Teletubbies?
No.
They're making that.
That's an illusion.
Asbog and his orc retinue lead you up the tower. And Icthelion, I don't know how you feel about this, but the elven architecture and symbology of this place has been defaced and vandalized and made into a cruel mockery of anything that has once been elf. I don't know how you feel about that.
He's probably not happy about it.
Yeah.
Only because he came here to search for elven artifacts. Sure. So if anything, he doesn't care at all about the preciousness of elven architecture. Yeah. Like somehow his kin have been dishonored. He's just like, oh man, there could have been clues in there as to elven powers, and these foolish idiots have not seen this place for the powerful place that it is, for the treasure trove it is.
Yeah. So you get led up to not the top of the tower, but close.
How many towers are there? Are there two?
It's just the one. Yeah, nice try, Connor. You get up to the penultimate floor and get led into a chamber that probably Delagueria can't fit into. So she probably has to sit right outside the door.
Is there a window to the room?
Or can it have a really high roof top? Could he climb up the wall and
dangle down? So
my
little head is poking through the window.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. That way he's still a part of the scene.
Yeah, Delab, do you want to make a climbing test?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's
That's
the
skill? Good question. It is a frosty tower.
I think there's a spider.
What?
I think there's a climbing difficulty thing for.
There is. It's a different skill for spiders. Yeah. So let's see. Climbing an icy 100-degree rock wall. Ob 5. That is indeed what's happening.
Is it actually icy? Oh yeah, it is icy.
It's winter. Yeah, and you're in
the winter.
northern wastes.
I forgot.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to try that.
Can I just use my drag line to dangle?
So you have to get up to the issue is so you're being led up a thin staircase too. So for Delab to actually get up to the top of the tower where Ecthelion's going to be having this conversation, she will have to climb the tower.
Am I climbing the inside right now to
the
get
outside?
Oh, okay.
The outside of the tower, basically. either way, you're going to have to, I mean, you could
Yeah.
drag yourself up the staircase, like above it in a weird way, but like eventually you're going to have to climb on the tower itself. So if you'd like to actually be part of the conversation in a meaningful way,
Okay.
you'll have to make that roll.
I'll try. My climbing's only 3, but I do get an automatic +2 for climbing checks because of one of my traits.
Yes.
I believe.
That sounds correct, but we'll see. Yeah, wall crawler, +2 dice to climbing skill tests.
I'm looking through my skills to see if there's anything I can use to help you.
And there's very much doubt it.
There's absolutely nothing.
Can I like? I don't even know.
I mean, I have climbing claws, but that doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you climb.
You know what? I'll give it to you as an ob4. There are like divots and stuff that like it's not. You're literally just climbing up a vertical like icy wall.
Can I like shoot like I don't know like a little grappling hook of web up there? And fork in weaving maybe.
Question. Yeah, I'll just let you fork it in.
I mean, that's how spiders.
Yeah.
Do stuff.
Yeah, I'll let you fork and weaving.
Okay. And then can I do webwise as well?
Yeah, just one or the other.
Okay. Gotcha. Climbing with 1, 4. Oh, I guess it's 3 forks. Let's do 4.
Hey, nice. Right in the money. Yep, so Delibquaria managed to climb up the tower and then Dragline kind of descend down, and so she's looking into the window of this chamber, all creepy like.
I think as like we probably had a short interaction of me outside, and I probably just like ignored you, right? As if like I don't care that you really can't fit in here. Like I'm just going inside because I'm the king, right? And you have to just wait outside, I guess. You're not important to this conversation. But as he sees kind of you like descending from the ceiling as he walks in the throne room, he's like he the camera like shows him having like a little smirk, like she made it up.
Cool. Yeah. So you enter, and you know Asbog has led you in and opened the door, and he enters first, and he says,
"Master, you have a visitor who was most insistent on speaking with you."
And he has like a quaver in his voice. He's obviously intimidated by this dude.
He pushes him out of the way. He's like, okay, the leaders are talking now.
And he sneers and
scurry along,
almost lashes out at you, and then you give him a look, and he tails back.
Yep. And I walk straight up to the throne, and I stand like.
So the room is like a study. Right. Okay. So there's like old bookcases, many of which look like they're just full of destroyed, half. It's very like dusty and not well kept. But there is a dude standing in the corner. With
by dude, do you mean like a human?
So it's hard to tell immediately. There's a figure, a black cloaked figure, standing in the corner, looking at a scroll set out on a pedestal. He has like metallic gloves, and kind of like reaches out with some gloves and rolls out the scroll in a different way to look at a different section of it. And he says,
wait, this is the person who's talking to me?
Yes. Yeah. So it's just like this black cloaked figure, kind of hard to discern what race. And you just hear a raspy voice say,
"What business does an elf have reclaiming his birthright? You abandoned this tower long ago. Left it to the wolves."
Show yourself.
Why would I do so? I have no desire to.
I don't really have any like way of physically forcing him to. So I guess I'll just roll persuasion.
I steal his cloak with my webs.
And I think he says
no, do that. Do it.
You could attempt to do that, yeah.
My weaving is good.
Just web it. Just like whoosh.
You can try.
You see my little like proboscis like make the Spider-Man symbol.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. I mean that would still just be weaving, right?
I assume so.
Just the non-magical variant.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not
Okay.
it's not open-ended.
Yeah.
So weaving.
And I'd assume webwise, and then where is it?
Let's say it's
Snare.
an ob. Actually, it would probably be against him.
Yeah.
So ob 2.
Oh, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, webwise and snares.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm ensnaring his cloak.
Yep.
And male wise, because he's a male.
You know what? I think you're actually rolling snares. Maybe. Let me double check this.
Snares are more of like
It's like a
setting up
trap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can fork it, but it's weaving. Yeah.
What was the call on male wise?
No. His maleness is not relevant to this roll.
Spider wise, because I'm a spider.
No.
Like,
No.
I know how I work.
I would almost give him that one, but
No.
yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I'm only 2, so I'm just being petty at this point.
Dang.
Oh, oops! I'm just gonna.
Was it still open ended?
It was still open.
Oh yeah, you had a lot of 6s.
Yeah, it's gonna fail now.
Whoa.
Unreal.
I'll spend a fate to reroll a traitor.
Yeah.
You should probably spend 2 fate points.
He can. He
Okay.
doesn't have a 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So you
That'd have been embarrassing.
and drag the cloak off. And I think like the vibe that I was trying to do red herring wise, right, is this like it looks like a black rider, right? It looks like a ring wraith almost,
Yeah.
right? But when the cloak is drawn back, we see a man.
It's 3 goblins and a trunk.
Okay, now. Caleb, do you want to change it?
Let me think about that. No.
Going
Darn!
once, going twice.
The Uruk looks at it, is like, wait a second.
Received.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And
No, it's
he's
a
he's
man.
never been reading any of the books. They've just been pretending to like read these scrolls and be this intelligent human.
It's a man. It's a human. There's something off about him. Like you're not.
Yeah, his cloak.
But I hate you. I hate you so much. There's something off about his face and his eyes that like looks more than just human.
Okay.
But he is a man.
Or
right?
do you mean more than human or less than human?
Hard to tell. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe both all at once. And he turns to you and he looks at you.
I have like basically every race wise. Would you allow me to roll any of these?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at your skills.
I mean, I have a 1 in every one of those, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could roll man-wise here if you'd like. Honestly, that's pretty much the only thing that makes sense here.
I can roll spider-wise to see if he's a spider in disguise.
He's not.
well,
So yeah, roll an ob 5 man-wise test.
okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything to put into that. Maybe can I fork an obscure history?
Sure.
Is that relevant at all?
It's relevant as a fork. Yeah.
Is he somewhat of another race?
No.
In the sense, could I no other races?
No other
can
race.
Be forked
Yeah,
in here?
that's on here. Yeah. Actually, you know what? You can fork an elf-wise, actually. Yes.
Okay. So that's 3. And I'm rolling man-wise, right?
Yes, you're rolling man-wise, op 5.
Okay.
So if you happen to get really lucky with the 6s, you might be able to make it. But
Yep. Well,
with fate,
it's not open-ended. Yeah. And you said op 5, right?
Yep. Nope.
Yeah,
no
you got a 1.
sixes.
Nope.
So yeah, there's something off about him. Like you're just like there's something in his eyes. Like his eyes look hollow to you when he looks at you.
Wait, did I just improve man-wise then, since it's at ob 1 and it's a challenging test, or do I still need that routine test?
You need a routine and a difficult or challenging. But basically the idea is an ob 1 test can count as a difficult or a routine. So you still need like an ob 1 test, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he turns to you. You can see a hollowness in his eyes. But he turns and says, "How cute to use a spider to invoke the wrath of the lord of this place. What possible reason would I have to entertain even a conversation with you, elf?" Yeah, Gruno said in chat, "It's a regular old hobbit."
No, but he's too tall. That means there has to be three
hobbits.
Yeah. Okay, so can I roll elven artifact wise here to basically just be able to spout out like there's a hidden elven artifact here of ancient power, and that's why I'm here, and like,
I mean, you don't need to roll that.
So that's why I'm here, right? Because I know that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what the elven artifact is, unless
okay.
Yeah, so you could roll elven artifact wise to know what is supposed to be in this tower.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that then.
Let's say ob 5.
I'm gonna fork in. Well, first of all, I get 2 helping dice because I'm driven.
No, that's not how that works. Driven is a call on. So you can use it to re-roll all failed dice in 1 test per session.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm gonna fork in Elfwise since this whole place was built by elf
stuff. Yep.
Can I fork in Dark Elfwise since this is not only an elf thing but an evil elf thing?
If that's what are you trying to find an evil elf thing?
Oh well, yeah. I don't want a healing elven artifact. I want a inflict serious wounds elven artifact.
Well, the idea though is that you're finding an elven artifact that is neutral, can be bent to your will, right? There's not a whole lot of evil elven artifacts out here, which is gonna if that's the context you want to set up, then I'm gonna have to increase the obstacle. It's very unlikely that there's a dark elven artifact.
Okay.
Right.
I'm fine with it not being. I'm fine with it not being like a corrupted thing, but I can still obviously use it for evil purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
And / or corrupt it myself.
Yes, exactly.
Is that kind of
that's what I'm saying?
I'm fine with that premise.
History,
Ages of the Etharch. That's a song, right? Yeah, that's a song. Never mind.
Well, I mean, it depends. Ages of the Etharch. If it's not it might be.
No, it's a song.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is, I think it's a skill song and not a spell song. So it's like that's the sort of thing you can fork typically.
Oh,
let me look. I think it's a history thing. I think that's what Ages of the Etharch is. So let me look real quick.
Can I fork in gossip wise for this as well?
Ages of the Etharch is a specialized history skill relating to the Ages of the Etharchs. Yes, 100%.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. Can I also fork in gossip wise?
Sure.
Like I've heard rumors of this place. Okay. Any other races wise? Like orc wise, maybe?
No.
Can I fork in symbology? An argument being like, I know of the symbols that are like in this place, right?
Let me look at the skill and see typically what it says.
I mean, it's not open-ended, so I'm assuming it's not like some sort of magic thing.
No, it's a regular like academic skill. So symbology, the study of ancient and obscure symbols. A symbologist can recognize and interpret these marks and signs.
So like as I'm walking through here, right? Or like even just being in this room.
So the role here is to know what elven artifact is here.
Yes.
So yes, I'll give it to you. Yep, symbology makes sense then.
Cool.
Especially
That
because
is
you've already walked
6
through the tower.
Wait, hold on. I need to recount. 1. 2, 3, 4. Can I fork in obscure history? Caleb, did you freeze up?
Sorry, say that again.
Can I also fork in obscure history?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I might have already asked. I don't remember. I had to recount.
Yep.
And you said Ob was 5?
Yep. Nice.
Unreal.
Yep.
Unreal. Crazy. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna fail a roll this entire session.
So and knowing or seeing this dude has confirmed it for you. I think this role is a combination of things that has you figured out something. The elven artifact you're looking for is a Palantiri. It's a Palantir. And
can I decide instead what it is, or?
Well, no, because what I'm saying is this guy is a Numenorian. He's a black Numenorian. He's one of the Numenorians who turned to Sauron back. Actually, I guess in this current age, the Numenor hasn't fallen yet. So this is just a Numenorian who has already decided to go with Sauron for whatever reason, has been outcast by his people for whatever reason, right? Has gone to the darkness. And he probably stole a Palantir. So the Palantir are originally elven artifacts. Given to Numenor. And so a lot of this is just you like looking this guy up and down and being like, huh, he's a Numenorian. That makes sense for like, and this is the sort of tower that you could use a Palantir in pretty easily because of its, you could stand on the top of it and see for a long time with the Palantir. So it makes sense that a Numenorian might find his way here. And the Numenorians are part elf, right? That's the key to their long life is that they started off as like half elves and then slowly, the long age of the men there comes from that. So they're familiar with all the elf stuff. All the signs seem to point to that. And so this guy probably has a Palantir here somewhere.
Okay, so
and I mean, unless you're like really opposed to that idea and you have like a completely different.
I don't think I could. I'm not sure what I would really do with a Palantir.
I mean, see throughout your entire kingdom and know like, hey, yeah,
they have powers aside from that too, don't they? Each one has like a. Because I remember there being a mission in the Angmar games where the Palantir has a bunch of different powers.
That might just be a out of canon thing, let's take a look. The Palantiri in appearance were dark, perfectly smooth stones of varying sizes. Let's see. That's what they look like. The circumferential faces were the ones that allowed viewing, receiving outside visions, and channeling them to the eye of the beholder on the opposite side. If one wished to look east, he would place himself on the western side of the orb, etc. Unlike the master stones, which could rotate and look in any direction, the smaller ones had fixed positions so that when they looked when looked at from a wrong direction, the face would appear blank to the surveyor. In one direction, they could see for leagues, with the farthest places offering the least clarity. Their vision was not based on obstacles, but on darkness. They could see through things that would only see shadow, and nothing within could be discerned. Let's see. When two stones were communicating with each other, then another viewer from a third stone would find them blank. So typically, it's just that, as far as I can tell. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
The Angmar game lied to me.
Yeah, all the properties it says is just like it's a scene stone. I mean, that's literally the name of it.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it.
Cool.
I guess I misunderstood exactly what.
So right, like you could go to the top of this tower and then just look at anything within leagues, right? And like,
right,
great thing to start building an empire with.
Yeah.
And at this point, Sauron doesn't have a Palantir either. Right? That hasn't fallen yet. So you should be safe, more or less, to use it without Sauron attacking you with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you don't know where it is. It just seems like that would be the thing that would be here.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fine. I think he's just going. Can I just initiate like a duel of wits?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Can I just be like, I'm here to
usurp.
Thank you. I can never say that word quite right. I need more tongue dexterity. I'm going to just be like, I'm here to usurp you, and I am here to take your Palantir. And just be like, I assume you have it, kind of a thing. Like, I want it.
I definitely like that being a duel of wits, because you're not trying to convince him per se. You're trying to convince the orcs, right? You guys are going to be yelling, like booming voices at the top of this tower, and all the orcs are going to be listening, and whoever wins is going to have the command of the orcs. I love it. Sounds great. So
You should make the artifact the dragon helm of Dorloman.
What?
It's amazing what you can find with a quick Google search into Tolkien lore.
It's a helmet that strikes fear into all who see you.
Makes
or
sense.
Your enemies. Anyway.
There's all sorts of artifacts that Icthelion could find here. Or not here, but, in general. Okay, so statement of purpose. To begin a duel of wits, there must be two sides willing to defend their disparate positions. So I think the Númenórean looks at you and just says, you expect to walk right into my tower, to take command of my legion, and to make yourself the lord of all of Fordwaith? In a day, you wish to do this.
1 hour.
Yeah. And so I guess it's like each side clearly and succinctly states its case. This is called the statement of purpose. Your point and what you want. State your case in an orderly fashion. So I think in his
anime inner monologue, he whispers, "Time is not on our side."
So he says, the Númenórean says, I am the master of, this is his like statement of purpose. I am the master of this domain, and you are in my power.
So real quick, my computer is just kind of freaking out, and I don't know if you're saying anything or if you can even hear me right now, but my computer is probably going to have to restart.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I tried to click on the weather button, and that was it. That was it. On my computer, I don't even know if I can hit the power button. So, or like shut it down. I'm gonna have to just like hold the power button, I think. But you can still hear me. I mean, we can if you wanna do my duel of wits or like do the roll stuff for me, I can just keep talking for now.
Can you hear me?
Can you see me? I can hear you. Yeah. Can you see me?
I can see you and hear you. Yeah.
Am I like moving? Weird. This is so strange.
I mean, that's fine.
I have literally no clue what happened. But yeah, let's do this. You want me to restart it, or
let's just take a quick break, right? Yeah. Take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll come back and do a duel of wits. All right, stick around. We got more Burning Wheel to come right after this.